Thank you so much for attending my presentation about scary moves in competitive Pokemon, and first let's talk about what I consider to be the quintessential example, Cross Chomp. On its own, this thing seems pretty bad. 100 base power is nice, but 80 accuracy makes it tough to run, so use close combat. But what if you couldn't? Let's talk about GSC Machamp, a truly unreal Pokemon. In a metagame where it's not uncommon to see 3 or more fighting weeks on a team, it seems useful to have something to exploit them. Machamp struggles in Gen 1 because all of its fighting type moves are horrible and psychics are everywhere, but here it can actually get some work done. Sadly, it must rely on Cross Chomp. Having to deal with Hydro Pump-like accuracy is frustrating, but your opponent arguably has it worse. This thing has a high crit chance. Factoring in everything, it has about a 20% chance to land and crit. This is insanely difficult to handle. With double damage, it hits even resist for large damage and blows past setup bonds. You might have a +3 attack and defense curse lack setting on the field, but as soon as they send him a champ, shit gets real. Multi-hit moves have always struck fear into the hearts of players. There's never been a category of move to have so many ways to miraculously win or lose you the game. The worst offender is Triple Axle. This physical ice move can hit 3 times. However, unlike most others, the amount of hits isn't determined beforehand. Instead, each has a separate accuracy check, in this case 90%. There isn't a way to make this move feel balanced. Too low base power like Triple Kick and the risk isn't worth it. Too much base power and it creates high variance game states. Triple Axle leans towards the latter, starting at 20 and adding another 20 each time it lands. 20, 40, 60. The damage swings are enormous. It fucking doubles between hits 2 and 3. Other multi-hits aren't as wild, but still leave a lot up in the air. The gap between a 2 and a 5-hit Icicle Spear, for example, is massive, and circumventing this is difficult. Skill Link is guaranteed, but it's an ability with limited distribution. Loaded dice helps, but it's still a 50-50 between 4 and 5. While they become more consistent since the item's release, every time you have to click a multi-hit move, you better say your prayers. Despite having a few different trades, Gigaton Hammer and Blood Moon are very similar. These moves have some of the highest base power in the game, the former with 160 and the latter with 140. They also have perfect accuracy, making them remarkably consistent. However, moves like this couldn't get through testing without some sort of drawback. This time, Game Freak went with a cooldown not being usable 2 turns in a row. This is a good decision for obvious reasons. However, it does introduce another, more subtle problem, particularly in VGC, Protect. In a perfect world, I could keep my Pokemon safe on the exact right turns and never get hit by the moves. In practice, it can feel like a coin flip. Getting it wrong is deadly. My Rillaboom might live the spread move Hyper Voice, but Terranormal Blood Moon will knock it out in one hit. Playing against these behemoths isn't just about bulk, you need to predict exactly when they'll send it. They're obviously not impossible to play around. Good players can make even wrong decisions work, but having to deal with this each game will take its toll. Encore is a simple move, forcing the target to repeat the move they last used for a handful of turns. This seemingly innocuous option has some deadly connotations though. Sweepers. Fast sweepers absolutely love this thing, getting at least one free turn to set up, which is oftentimes all they need. Ogerpon Wellspring is Gen 9 OU's biggest culprit. With a great speed tier, 100 base power stab, and solid coverage, a single Source Dance has the potential to end games instantly. This set, among others, have led players to lobby for a ban. Hawlucha can also take advantage of this, sacrificing some power to outrun basically every Pokemon with Unburden. VGC Encore is also a menace. It's run more often as a supportive option, dissuading Protect. If you get locked into it, the opponent basically has a free pass to either knock you out or your partner out. There's also some cheese involving Shadow Tag, performed primarily by Screamtail. By encoring a Pokemon and then disabling it, they're forced to struggle. Normally it'd be easy to switch out, but when there's a trapping effect on the field, you just have to watch as your Pokemon knocks itself out slowly but surely. In conclusion, there's many scary moves in Pokemon for many different reasons. It's easy to assume that the only truly terrifying options are the big damage dealers, but you'd be wrong. Thank you so much for watching.